All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021, and we just finished with Week 11 of the NFL. And, of course, now that means it's time to move on to Week 12. And, of course, in just a couple days, it'll be Thanksgiving. So, happy Thanksgiving. Unless you're watching this after, then I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. But, yeah, Week 11 real quick went pretty well for us. We went 10-5. Pretty solid record. Could have been a little better, could have been a little worse, but it was nice to finally get off of that weird little bad pick streak we were in and get closer to 100 wins. We're at 96, 68-1 as the overall record. That's about 66%. We shot way up in terms of percentage and stuff, which is quite nice. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to start it out. Of course, we have the bye weeks this week, which is going to be the Cardinals and Chiefs. Hopefully, we pick better than we did last week even. But I don't know. There's a lot of weird games where it might be kind of hard to pick because there's a lot of bad matchups, but they're bad at the same level. You'll see as we get to the games. But as always, make sure you leave your picks down below, and I'll be sure to get back to them as soon as I can. I have I have some time off because of Thanksgiving and all that, so I'll be able to comment very quickly back and forth with everybody. So yeah, just make sure you leave your picks down below as always, or what you think of the picks and all that, and I'll be sure to get back to you. And let's hop into Thursday night football. Well, it's Thursday afternoon and then night football, as it is Thanksgiving this day. So Turkey Day football, we've got the Bears and the Lions to kick it off. As per tradition, always sort of dictates the Lions get to play on Thanksgiving. They came up with the holiday, and so they get to play. That's kind of the rules. And so we got the Bears and the Lions 3-7 versus 0-9-1. Bears come into it with 3-point favorites with an over-under of 41.5. I guess I don't really know if this is my upset of the week, but I guess I have the Lions beating the Bears. I think that there's a lot of rumors right now coming out of the Chicago camp that this is probably Nagy's last game, and I'm sure the players are because now there's also reports that the players don't like him anymore. There's mutiny going on. There's several of the Bears players want him gone, or at least they want to move on from him as the head coach. So they're seeing reports that if this game doesn't go well for them, they'll fire Nagy after the game. I could imagine a scenario where the Bears don't try very hard in this game and they just they half-ass it. There's going to be some people who play normally, but I'm willing to bet that there's going to be a very poor effort from the Chicago Bears because they want to move on from Nagy. Plus, I don't know, Detroit's going to be super hungry for this game. Their defense hasn't been that terrible, and with Andy Dalton starting and that offensive line, I think the Lions could actually sneak this out and actually get an upset. With all those things considered, that's why I like the Lions over the Bears. I gave way too much analysis to that game. This is a decent game. The Raiders playing the Cowboys. Cowboys are 7.5-point favorites with an over-under of 50.5. By the way, as always, the lines come from FanDuel.com, and I just put them in here so that way you have sort of a way to base and gauge the game on. You know what I mean? Just so it's in there, and people always ask for them if they're not included. I like the Cowboys in this game. They seem to. What the hell was I about to say about the Cowboys? Well, I'll just talk about the Raiders first. With the Raiders, it's obvious that they're kind of in that flow right now where they start off really good, and then about midway through the season, it kind of falls back in on them. Not really sure why this happens. Maybe it's just a fault in the roster, and they just got to burn it down and rebuild it, which very well could be that. I also think a number of outside influences have kind of just derailed this team. Bisaccia probably has no idea how to deal with that level of outside scrutiny, outside distraction. We kind of seen that against the Bengals where they stayed in the game and then they just got smoked down late. I could imagine a scenario where that happens. I forgot who the Cowboys played last week. It wasn't the Chiefs. Yeah, it was the Chiefs, wasn't it? Yeah, it was the Chiefs. Yeah, they didn't look so good against the Chiefs, but I imagine they'll get their stuff back together this week. I feel like the Chiefs right now have a weird defense where nobody sees it coming because I think they moved Jones back to DT, and then now Ingram's playing where I think it was, whatever they did worked, so they look a lot better. But I feel like the Cowboys, regardless of the struggles they had on offense that last game, I think they can come against the Raiders, who are kind of in disarray. Don't really feel like they're playing the best football right now, and they're kind of in that typical Raiders slump that they would get into even if Gruden was probably still the head coach. So we'll see. I like the Cowboys to win 28-24, kind of because of those reasons. Bills versus Saints. Bills are 5.5-point favorites with an over/under of 45.5. This game, I don't know if any of those Saints linemen that were out are going to be back. I don't think Kamara's playing in this game. And if they're just gonna get bodied like the Eagles, like I kind of said this last week, where I was like, if all of those injuries are true for the Saints again, and all they have is Simeon, and if they had other parts to this, you could see how this could be an upset with a team like the Bills. It would be, very good defense by the Saints, followed by that double running attack of Kamara and Ingram. But now that they don't have that and they're down a couple linemen, it's like, all right, well, at some point, there's just too many people out for it to be, something you can overcome. Look at the Titans finally. At some point, losing all your dudes, it's like, wow, I don't know how you come back from all that nonsense. So give me the Bills, because number one, I feel like they're going to be looking for revenge. They're going to be playing very aggressive football because they know at this point, at this stage, they have fallen into second place. They now have to win because the Patriots have a pretty good shot at beating the Titans this week. So they're aware of where they're sitting right now, and then they have to play the Patriots the following week. So they have to use this as a get-right game and really come out swinging aggressive. And I think they can, mainly because the Saints are in complete disarray, and the Bills, they're a good team. Their rush defense is just not very good, or at least it just hasn't been the best this season anyway. We'll see if the Bills can kind of right the ship here against a Saints team that's reeling a little bit. All right, those are my picks for Thursday night. Feel pretty good about those, except for the Lions. All right, here's probably one of the best games of the weekend. It'll be the Buccaneers and the Colts. The Bucs are 3-point favorites with an over-under of 51.5. I like this game on the simple fact that Brady seems to play like a dynamo against the Colts. Historically, he plays pretty well, especially post-Peyton Manning against this team. I don't know. It feels like the Colts have played in a lot of very close, like higher scoring games this year. So if that's the case, I like their offense way more. I'm curious to see how Tampa Bay deals with Jonathan Taylor, and that's quite the reason why I have this as kind of a similar high scoring game. I could see the Colts trying to use Jonathan Taylor to keep Brady off the field, but again, as long as Tom doesn't throw a weak arm interception, which is happening a little more than I'd like to see this year from Brady, but it is what it is. He's 44. They can probably win this pretty handily. I have it as a 3-point game, 31-28, based on the running game of the Colts. I know it was whoever the hell they just played, but Brady sure looked dialed in against the Giants. That's what it was, the Giants. He looked like he's in that second half of the season form where he's kind of not really missing much and just kind of hitting dudes that are getting wide open. We know what we've seen, and it goes this could be where he's heading for the rest of the season. Tampa could win out, but this is a hard game. This is a tougher scheduled game for them, especially since it's going to be in Indy. But since it's in a dome, that'll kind of help them out too. I don't know. I feel like this is going to be a pretty good one. I could see where a lot of people might pick the Colts because of the running game. But I personally don't think it's going to matter much, because if the Bucs get up first, you can't really. If you fall down 14 to the Bucs, and your primary foe. So I guess my view of this is the Bucs know they have to take an early lead, so expect them to come out hot and early, like get up 14-17-0, and force the Colts to have to throw their way back into the game. And that's kind of how I feel this one's going to play out. That's why I have the Bucs ultimately. All right, this is my other, I guess, upset pick of the weekend. I don't know. It feels right, maybe. But I feel like this pick's caveated because I don't know who's gonna play quarterback for the Jets. If it's some random, I'm gonna switch to the Texans on Saturday because I always go make sure everything's. Because of some catastrophic shit, I always make sure certain games that are solid. But I believe Mike White and Joe Flacco were both put on the COVID list for the Jets, and that was before I didn't feel like or care much to change this. I'll just review this pick on Saturday and just, I got the Jets though. I think their defense is okay, and I think the Texans are bad. So give me the Jets. This one seems like it'd be closer because it is a division rivalry game, so I always kind of give it that respect. But it's the Eagles and the Giants. Eagles are 3.5-point favorites with an over-under of 46. One of the main reasons now I might even put the Giants at some less points is because they did just fire Jason Garrett, which will probably long-term help their offense. But I think in the next 1 or 2 weeks, They're going to be kind of in flux, kind of trying to figure out a new offensive system. So there could be a little bit of a lag here against the Eagles, who've been playing very good defense, a pretty good offense the last few weeks. So I don't know. I feel like most people are going to have the Eagles in this one, except Giants fans. But yeah, the Eagles have been playing pretty good football lately. They're playing great defense. I mean, for what we all thought the Eagles were going to be, they're playing very good. Like, Jalen Hurts has been solid. I wouldn't say phenomenal. He's been solid for the Eagles. Their defense is playing a lot better as the season goes along. Hell, they're having a decent season. They're 5-6 in a season where most people thought they'd win like 2 games. So they're about to have like 3 first-round picks this year. That's incredible. Look, good for Philly, I guess. I'm sure NFC East fans are miserable about that, but I don't know. And the Giants just look bad. Like I don't know. Hopefully something happens with their new OC, because their offense is atrocious. Yeah, this is what I meant by there's a lot of games where you're just like, wow, these are like equal matchups, but they're just bad. Jets, Texans, Eagles, Giants, now Panthers, Dolphins. I know the Dolphins have won 2 in a row, I believe, against the Ravens and the Jets, so that doesn't really count. But I don't know. They've won a couple games. Panthers are 1.5 point favorites with an over/under of 42. If the Dolphins play like they did against the Ravens, they can win. But if they play like they did against the Jets, I can see the Panthers just beating the shit out of them. I don't know. They didn't really like dominate the Jets. The score was like a 10-point game. So that's not always impressive. I feel like the Panthers are going to get better and better as Cam gets more time in the offense, and I think this is going to be the second week. A little bit more is going to be opened up. They're going to know more about what his strengths and what his weaknesses still are right now. So, I don't know. Plus, I think Carolina's defense has been pretty good, and they can kind of shut down that weird little run thing that Miami tries to do. So, I kind of like the Panthers here. I don't know. They're 1.5 point favorites, so apparently I'm not the only one. I picked all away teams. That makes me nervous so far. All right, let's go into the next slate of 1 o'clock games. Here's the one where I'm going to be called a homer, but as you can see here, I'm paying more respect than the odds makers are. Titans versus the Patriots. Patriots are 6-point favorites with an over/under of 44.5. I mean, the Titans are 8-3, so there's nothing disrespectful about what I'm trying to say, but it's like, as I said with the Saints, at some point you do run, like Julio Jones, I think, is out. A.J. Brown probably isn't going to play. No Derrick Henry. No Bud Dupree. At some point, it's hard to overcome injuries. Like, they're a good team, very, very well coached. You know what I mean? Like, this is a good Titans team. It's just right now they're running into a team that is very healthy in the New England Patriots, that is playing very good football, and they are on a very hot winning streak. This team's at home. They're going to be playing very good football, knowing that they're now in first place. And for the Titans, I had them winning this game literally until Bud Dupree went out. Like, it was like that one finally for me went, man, AJ Brown's might not play. I'm not sure about this one yet. Julio's, like, it's just like at some point they're running out of options, and we kind of seen that versus the Texans. I know divisional games aren't really a fair way to look at it, but at some point again, it's like probably should have throttled Houston anyway. But again, I don't really look at division games too seriously, but it's also telling that they had trouble moving the ball with everything that's eventually piled up and accumulated. So I'm wondering, and a big way the Titans have been able to beat the Patriots and kind of keep them off their game is by the use of Derrick Henry. So now we get to see what Mike Vrabel can do against Bill Belichick without the nuclear weapon of Derrick Henry in the backfield. So those are the questions I have. I wonder how I know Tannehill's been done okay against the Patriots, but again, he's good without a lot of weapons at this point, and the Patriots have a very good defense this year. So I like the Patriots to win this game. It's not even an like 2 weeks ago this would have been an upset pick. Now it's just these are 2 of the top 3 teams in the AFC, and they're just matching up. So give me the Patriots 24-21. Basically, the Patriots can also just kind of run the ball without Bud Dupree in there. Is my big guess on how this is going to go down. They're going to run it very often. utilize Mac to a very light degree, and just kind of play keep away, run the clock down. There's a lot of games, huh? There's 15 this week, so Pittsburgh Steelers versus Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are 4.5-point favorites with an over/under of 45. Yeah, I don't know how the Steelers are still 500. It seems like they just can't get to 500. There's a magic force field that if they get close to it, they miracle win a game. But I don't know. I feel like their luck's running out. Their team is getting slower and more tired as the season seems to go on somehow. But I guess that's kind of the price you pay when Big Ben's your quarterback. The Bengals seem to have gotten it back together last week against the Raiders. They kind of clicked it back in. I like the way that looked at the end there. The Bengals seem to play very, very good football against their division. I just like the Bengals. I think it's a mismatch right now for the Steelers. We kind of seen a similar situation with the Chargers, so I expect almost a similar game, but maybe a little less exciting. Give me the Bengals, especially in a home game. I don't know who to pick. I didn't know who to pick in this game initially. It's the Falcons and Jaguars. Falcons are 1-point favorites, and I have them winning. Next game. Let's go to the 4 o'clock slot. Yeah, I know. I went against my rule. I'm going to win 3 games this week. It's going to be terrible. I never do good when I pick the Falcons, and they have to win for me to have a good week, or else I'm fucked. But I think they can beat the Jaguars. I just don't want to talk about that one. The Chargers are playing the Broncos. 6-4 versus 5-5. Chargers Broncos. Chargers are 2.5-point favorites with an over/under of 47.5. I like the Chargers to win this game. Broncos have played pretty good football this year, surprising due to the understanding that their offense is kind of horseshit. So I expect them to stay in this game, but I just ultimately feel their offense just doesn't have enough to put them over that hump, which I think in a game against a team like the Chargers, who are explosive, they can score suddenly, they can score late, you kind of have to have something that can match that, unless your game plan is to just completely shut the Chargers down, which and I haven't seen that out of Denver this year, not versus good teams. They can do that to the lower tier teams, but not teams that are at or slightly above their level, which kind of seems to be the Broncos' biggest problem this year, is teams slightly above or better than them by a bit. I mean, they can't beat them, so that's, Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know how this wasn't slotted into Sunday Night Football. Wait till you see what they got at Sunday Night Football. This is the Rams and the Packers. It's Packers are favored by 1 point with an over/under of 47.5. Essentially, pick them. With I think put 1.5 Rams, but you know how they always give the home team 3.5. Essentially, my problem in this game is what it was against the Vikings, who have a much worse defense than the Rams. Well, while I think the Packers are a very good team this year, right now they're dealing with an injury to Aaron Rodgers. I still don't know the status of if Aaron Jones is going to play, so I'm questioning on that situation if he even should in this game. Their offense looked pretty good, and they're going to hang in this game. I don't expect anyone to blow each other out in this one, but I feel like the Rams are going to come into this one. Stafford knows how to play quite well at Lambeau. Stafford has, there's a small rivalry, I'd say, between, Stafford and Rodgers due to their Detroit days or Stafford's Detroit days. And, he probably has there's some extra oomph in this for Stafford, I would imagine, going into Lambeau and beating Aaron Rodgers, which is something he really enjoyed doing during his time in Detroit. Now that he's got a much more capable team of doing some havoc, causing some chaos, take advantage of the Rodgers toe situation, this kind of starts to paint up for an easier game for the Rams, so long as their struggles the last couple games don't carry over to this Packers game. If it does, this Packers defense is going to shut them the hell down. I was a little worried about how the Packers looked against the Vikings. Maybe they need a break. I believe they're one of those teams with a late bye week, so I think they're also starting to get a little tired, whereas the Rams are going to be super fresh coming into this. So that's another reason why I'm leaning Rams. Packers need a bye week, it seems. Almost every game I have to talk about it, and it's so frustrating. Because there's usually 3 or 4 games in a week where I'd be like blah 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 and skip them. But this is the Vikings and the 49ers. 49ers are minus 3-point favorites with an over-under of 48. Yeah, I like the I had the Vikings with the upset win last week, but I quite like the 49ers this week. Mainly because Jimmy G's been playing good football. Deebo Samuel's seemingly scoring in some way. Kittle's playing very good football. They're running the ball again very well in San Francisco. They're playing pretty good defense that I expect to continue against the 49ers or the Vikings. Also, I believe that Shanahan has full understanding of Kirk Cousins as a quarterback due to their time over at the Washington. Yeah, that's basically, it's a good rundown, right? Like they should know Kirk, they know his tendencies. I feel like if this is more of an offensive, like high kind of game right now, the way the 49ers are playing, I really like the way that they can do things. The Vikings defense has been hit and miss, and yeah, I think the 49ers take advantage of that, power run it with Deebo and that running back, and it doesn't matter who plays running back, but yeah, I don't know. I like the Vikings or the 49ers in this one. They're just playing very, very good football the last few games, and I think they've kind of turned the corner. Jimmy G's playing very good, confident football, and he's just kind of back to Jimmy G mode. And when it's like this, they'll win games. They're hard to beat when they're playing the way that they are, the 49ers. So good luck. They're not easy to play, especially at home. Not right now. All right, Sunday night football rather. This is the Ravens or the Browns and the Ravens. Ravens are 3.5-point favorites with an over/under of 46. Cleveland plays the Ravens pretty well, but right now I don't like what I'm seeing from the Browns, right? They're playing good defense, but their offense has been questionable with the injuries to Baker, injuries to receivers, running backs, linemen. I was very high on Cleveland when the season started, but it's kind of starting to wane the confidence in them. This is sure it's a winnable game for the Browns. They could very well use a bye week too. It's a winnable game for them, but the problem is I don't like what I'm seeing out of Baker's health. I don't like the way he's playing while injured. I'm questioning whether or not like him sitting and them playing the backup. Sorry, I meant Monday Night Football was bad. Wait till you see Monday night. I don't know. This will be a good game. It's always going to be a fun game with these AFC North teams playing each other and going head to head. They always play very competitively. But right now, with the health and the state of the Browns roster, I kind of like the Ravens more. Baker's been, he's tough to play through it, but maybe should be better to sit. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Plus, off a bye, I believe the Ravens are. We'll check in a second, but actually, I just do this. Broncos and Rams. So no, Ravens. Oh shit. I don't know. Yeah. It's just the way that the Browns have been playing lately. They're clearly the injuries have clearly caught up to them a little bit. All right. Last but not least, Monday Night Football. I don't care about this at all. By the way, this is the least I've ever been excited for Monday Night Football. This is one of the games where I'm like, all right, I can just kind of shortchange it. Washington is playing way better football than Seattle right now, and if Russell Wilson's still playing with that weird finger injury and just way too back too early, they're still going to look bad. This is a bad season for them. There's rumors Pete Carroll might be out after this season now, and I don't know. Washington at least has been playing competent football this season. I mean, they're not very good, but they're playing good foot. Like they're trying their hardest, whereas I don't know what the hell's going on with the Seahawks this year. So give me Washington over Seattle till Seattle shows that they're no longer terrible. All right, there's my picks so far. Like I said, 10-5 last week, much better. Look at that 3-week stretch there. Sheesh. But I'm at 96, 68, and 1. All I need is 4 more to get to 100. Isn't that awesome? Woo! But all right, thank you guys so much for listening to this week's Week 11 pick video. Hopefully you have a happy holiday if you celebrate Thanksgiving. If you listen to this after, I hope you had a good Thanksgiving and all that. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We're getting closer and closer to 7,000. I'm expecting in the next couple weeks we might actually hit it. So thank you so much to everyone who subscribed and left likes and left your picks below. It's very, very kind. Make sure you do that again. Make sure your picks are left as I mentioned earlier. And what else? Yeah, we're already at week 12. It's pretty sad, but we got the USFL coming up too. But all right, guys, thank you so much. Hopefully you have a good rest of your day, night, morning, whenever you decide to listen to this. And yeah, we're at week 12. Let me know what you're doing with your picks, and how's your picks record looking? Are you at 100 now? I'm sure several of you have hit 100 at this point. So yeah, good job if you have. If you're not, you get there soon. All right, that's it for picks for me. All right, peace out, everybody. All right, stop recording, please. Mitch, I said Mitch. I'm gonna. Oh God, it's still recording. I almost said I was gonna fuck you up, dude, and they was gonna hear me on the recording, and I'd be canceled. Sheesh, that would have been terrible. Oh God. All right, bye bye.